Hello, hello, and welcome, my Leo collective sun, moon, rising signs. Almost said Venus. No, not for these reads. Welcome to your full moon to new moon next reading for April 2020. I am your reader, Mark-Angela Lyons. Mel for short, professional, witch, professional, intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions, Leo rising himself, Mars conjunct, and really, really happy to be doing this. I'm actually doing this on a Sunday, the Sunday before full moon in Libra. So Sunday, Leo, all of that ready to rock and roll for you. Just going to get a couple of things out of the way. If you're new to the channel, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and feel free to comment because I do like the back and forth. I do like to hear what resonates for people. Other than that, this is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what does not, and check your other signs because these readings this time around are different. They're always a little different. This time I think they're very different. For full moon to new moon next, considering what it is we're all going through, these are really based on spiritual, holistic healing in the sense that we are going to pull 5 cards, one for each of the 5 elements, air, fire, water, earth, spirit, as well as one for the 5 directions, east, south, west, north, and center, because above I would have to hold the card in the air. Not doing that. So even though I've done element spreads before, rarely with, one deck per element to draw from and not in the position of the spread. You'll see I'll pop up a picture at the end. Just keep in mind we're looking at full moon on Tuesday the 7th at 10:15 p.m., 9 p.m. in my Facebook group. The link is in the description box below. I will be doing a little prayer, a little something, candle lighting. I mean, it's Libra. We'll probably do some element of air magic, maybe some breathing stuff on Facebook in the private group. But then I will jump over 11 p.m. as I have been doing for my 11 p.m. Chats, and I will do a card draw for full moon there. Cool. So we'll actually get both sides of it before and after, which is lovely, or at least I will. That being said, we're also going to new moon in Taurus, which is on April 22nd, which is wonderful new moon in Taurus, except we have to go through dark moon in Aries to get to new moon in Taurus, so be careful. That is sort of the feeling that I'm getting with it, because people are isolated. We all know why. I'm not going to talk about why on YouTube. We've all heard so much of it, and there are other places to get your news, obviously, than from a reader on YouTube about all that stuff. But this really, the guides and the gods were like, look, let's do this so that they can really be prepared, because Aries as a sign can be very childlike or childish. And in its darkness, there could be a tantrum that could be volatile within the community. At large, humanity. Just saying, whether you or not you have planets there. So I'm figuring that might be why they're saying do these readings this way, so that you can bring yourself into balance with the 4 lower bodies of holism, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and spiritual. And remember, when you're balanced with holism, you're less likely for assholism. Just saying. Let's ask the angels, shall we? The decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. I'll call them out as I go. We're dealing with the The Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. I get those D's in my mind linked sometimes. To see what your healing angel is for the element of air in the east. Get it? Let's do this. Nice deep breath. My angels, please, one card in clarity for the Leo collective sun, moon, rising sign for this full moon in Libra to new moon next in Taurus. What is the healing angel with them to help them heal their element of air, their mind, the direction of the east, powers of the east, element of air, thought, mind, and all that jazz. Whew, and it is an air word, focus. Focus, Leos. Pretty simple, pretty direct for an oracle card draw. Technically this is a spread, but, one card out to pick one of the few cards that really does speak directly to the element of air. Ideas and inspiration. Inspiration is of the crown chakra. Ideas is of the 3rd is in this deck. This is very, very, very clear focus. So let's just keep moving. Could talk about that forever. You know what focus means in the mental, right? Like focus on your breath, right? Focus on, let's look what's in your element of fire in the south. From the Ascended Masters using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack 4 suits in here: problem, luck, healing, and grace. Let's see if those four suits, which suit you get and which card within. Take a nice deep breath. Hi. My Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity for the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising sign, this full moon in Libra to new moon next in Taurus, please. One card in clarity for them for this full moon to new moon, April 2020, in terms of their element of fire, their desire, their choices, their decisions, the things they want, the things they burn for, the things they yearn for. And we've got a push me, pull me, which can very much mean just within your own energy field in terms of your choices and decisions that you're feeling two ways about something. That, remember, you're a fixed fire, right? So I get the focus part of it, focus the mind, but really get that perhaps both these dynamics are valid within you. Now, if this is within a relationship, which is, you really look at the problem suit in general in this deck, because it's the love pack, it is pretty much all about relationships, but as well as, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to the divine. If you are hunkered down with others, there might be some passive-aggressive push-pull going on that I've dealt with so many men, so little time, where it's like, hey, you're really hot. No, it's like, get away from me. Where are you going? It's just like, knock it off. Stop it. Right? So whatever that push me, pull me is, there is saying here, focus on this. And again, I'm getting a couple of different takes on that in the quantum. Like, one of them really is that you don't know. It's not that maybe that you don't know what you want. You know what you want, but at the same time, it's like pulling the butt out of the fire. Pull your butt out of your element of fire. It's like, I want it, but... And sometimes that but really is conscience, not just consciousness, your conscience telling you, I want it, but something feels off, right? Maybe that is intuitive. We'll see in your element of water here. But in terms of your own healing, perhaps we're looking at your own personal motivations are a bit clouded or a bit divided, or if there really is that dynamic of push me, pull me. Particularly whether you're doing it, make sure you realize you're doing it, that you have a choice to do it. If you're really saying, well, and I want you, I'll pull you, but, otherwise leave me alone, right? It's like, that's, sometimes giving dual messages to people. Or if you're the one who's getting the dual message, and you'll know that from just me saying it here in a reading like this, tune into it. Remember, what's your body doing as I talk about this? Where is it sort of knotting up in your energy field? Well, let's ask the goddesses with the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, what's going on in your element of water for your emotional aspect of healing. Breathe. My goddesses, please, one card in clarity for the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising signs. This full moon in Libra to new moon next in Taurus. What is it that they need to be aware of in their element of water, their powers of the West, their emotions, their intuition? What sort of healing? What sort of message? If you're from Back Bay, Boston. What's the message for them, my goddesses, please, in terms of their element of water? What do they need this full moon to new moon next? April 2020. You've got the Tower card emotionally. Now look, the Tower card, people lose it over the Tower card. I will say that it's not the most pleasant energy in the world to deal with, but it's not always so what people think it is either. Remember that it can be a bolt of truth that knocks down a long upheld position, but particularly a position held emotionally. Truth coming to you may be something toxic being broken down, perhaps the destruction of a pattern as a result of some push me, pull me going on, that you use your choices and your power, your willpower, to really focus on what it is that you do want, and that kind of either causing or is facilitated by some sort of emotional revelation, perhaps, like a real, not emotional destruction, but perhaps an abrupt emotional insight, right? With particularly with this card of focus, and to really look at what your push me pull me is. Sometimes when you find yourself in a push me pull me, you really tune in and say, I just don't really care about this anymore. It's like this I was, but now like this game, I'm worthy of better than this, and in 1 second, everything changes. Now that might seem like a mild example, but we're looking at a waning moon, right? We're looking at a full moon to new moon next, a letting go, so it can be gradual, but the insight itself, the emotional feeling, anybody would be afraid of wanting to feel something if particularly they are hunkered down in a push me pull me with somebody. Where are you going to go? I get it. But to focus on that doesn't mean you have to pick up your bed and walk. But it can certainly mean that you're tuning to your own guidance, your own grace, and the gods are just having at you on the inner in terms of breaking down perhaps old emotional patterns and structures, but quickly. I mean, and then we're going through that. There's a lot of tower moment going on right now for a lot of people. Things are changing on a dime. So for you to be having that in the element of water emotionally, it can even be something that's happening in the world. Gee, I wonder what that could be, but maybe a bit more personal, that your emotions are just affected instantly and really changes something about this push me pull me dynamic. Let's ask the higher selves of all involved, my own included, because I am Leo rising, so I'm keeping my eye on my own as these come along. I write them down, for myself. So when they said to me, use this deck for the element of earth in the north, I was like, well, I use that for the higher selves. And they essentially said, well, who else would be more interested in the physical capacities, health, and well-being of the embodiment than the higher self? I was like, point taken. That's really smart. Oh, no, it's not me. I'm like, oh. Oh, that's why. Usually I'm pretty like, okay, whatever you want, right? But I was just like, that's interesting. So take a nice deep breath. Higher selves of all involved, my own included, please. One card in clarity for the Leo collective. Sun, moon, rising sign. From this full moon in Libra to new moon next in Taurus. Considering we got to get through that Aries dark moon to get to that new moon in Taurus. Please, higher selves of all involved, my own included. What is the whisper of love for the Leo collective? This full moon to new moon next. Be willing to express love. Well, I'm Leo rising. I don't have an issue with that this life. When we express love, we begin to receive more love. So there's something there absolutely about Leo. Fifth house creativity that brings good fortune, right? That pleasure aspect in the physical. Be willing to express love. Now, interesting. Willing, throat chakra, fire, choice, decision with a push me, pull me. Maybe that's what you're going back and forth about. Now, I will be honest with you. There is agape. No reason why you can't express agape. Look it up. It's universal love, right? It's a love for all of life, for all humanity. There's mystical love, the love for the divine and the mysteries therein, because we won't really know a lot what's going on until we croak. Maybe not even then, right? Maybe we got to keep going to see what's really going on. Who knows? But that we have love in all sorts of different ways. Really, ultimately, only one love. We classify it differently because there are just certain expressions of love. I'd be willing to express love. That, I could express love for my kitty cats all day long. My youngest Melchior could just feed him temptations all day long. He would feel so loved. He would also be very, very chunky. Here it is. And not good for him, ultimately, to eat only that. So be willing to express love with this dynamic going on. It really is saying you have the power to change that, to transform that. And if you're the one who is on the, let's say, the receiving end of the push me, pull me, not so great, but then you be willing to express your love, if not to that person, directly to their soul, to yourself, or to someone else. Something worth saying, right? From the higher self. I'm going to give you a last card down with the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn, and then I'll pop up the picture, see what else jumps out at me. We're only 5 cards, but still, I've been doing this so long, I could weave connections between those all day long, which is what I do with private clients. They get, they book me for an hour, and no one has ever said that wasn't enough information. They're like, can I record this? I'm like, sure. Sure, if you can do. Let's do this. Then the element of spirit from the Ascended Masters. We're double dipping with them with the healing mantra deck. So please take a nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity. For the Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising signs. For this full moon in Libra to this new moon in Taurus, please. What is the ultimate healing mantra for the Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising signs, this full moon to new moon next April 2020 for this card of spirit above and this point, the center. All right, I'm not even looking at it yet. One side of the card is the name, the other is the name of the mantra. That's all that's written on the card. I will use the name of the mantra to look it up in the book, of which there is about a paragraph and a little bit in the end, which is really helpful. Who we get? Sharing shame. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Now look, I just said this in a super chat, whatever we call it, one of the live streams on YouTube, the chats. We had a conversation. It was either in the AMs or PMs. If we're gonna really be in all this together, we're gonna have to be there for other people's pain, and other people are gonna be there for ours, because it's what we need, particularly on social media, and particularly in the Mark Angelo Lyons Mel for Short Facebook group. We are really doing our best to do that, to be there for each other. But with that push me, pull me, I get that. You might not be ready, willing, or able to absolutely share, right? It says, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. And it's interesting that it's the card of shame, right? Sharing shame. That is that our deepest pain. And when you share it in confidentiality, not necessarily all over social media, unless that's what you're called to do. And as a Leo, I wouldn't put it past you. But maybe that's part of that push me, pull me, because it does feel like your emotions are getting struck by lightning. Now, it does not say here what causes that. Why? Because there's a near infinite number of causes for all the Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. But we're looking here in terms of spiritual healing that, yeah, be willing to express love, right? Address this push me, pull me within yourself or within relationships. And share your deepest pain. You know, that can absolutely, not, you know, through sharing shame, also create space and really heal relationships. Let me read you what's in the card here. Sharing shame, and then we'll pop up the picture. When shame is shared, cycles of victimhood are permitted to heal as you find the courage to speak your truth. Since abuse and neglect can only be perpetuated in silence, it is your willingness to step forward and share your life's story that helps transform each wound and inspire others to be set free. It's absolutely true. It's the right of confession. And I've done it in private lots of times, right? Once your shame is shared, you are able to honor yourself with the heightened encouragement, worthiness, and validation that you deserve and receive. And that makes sense for Leo, anything, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Uranus. The mantra is ideal for revisiting past traumas. A lot of us are doing that because we're being triggered like crazy at home. Expressing your inner child. Can't think of anything more important to do during this time than to heal and listen to your inner child. Hear it, not let it run the show. And finding self-acceptance. It's a really, really big deal. All right, let's pop up the picture. We'll see what we have here for you in what we love to say here at Drawing the Circle Productions. Magic Clap. Here's a good one. In the element of air, again, we've got that card of focus from the angels. Seems very on the nose. Not too on the nose, but perfect on the nose. That focus your mind instead of here, there, and everywhere. And look, you're fixed fire. You're better at fixing your, focusing, I should say, your desire, element of fire, what you will, what you won't do, what you want, etc. But in your element of fire, you've got that push me, pull me, so it's almost become a little mutable there, a little changeable, kind of feeling it out. A bit of indecision, that's one way of interpreting that card, but the other then is a really manipulative dynamic that we find in certain types of relationships, and not just romantic sexual. You know, it's that way of somebody turns on a dime and then your relationship is completely different. Like dating a Gemini in general. Just kidding, not really. So there's something there in your own element of fire that really choose your own healing. Make the decision to heal no matter what's going on, because here in your element of water, you've got a major arcana card there, considering there's only one tarot card in this spread of 5 that you get. Kali, the Awakener, very powerful card there in terms of something that was stable being eroded fast, quickly, but it can be an emotional breakthrough, not just a breakdown. It can be a type of emotional enlightenment where the pattern fulfills itself through a blinding flash of truth. Remember, truth and light are the same thing, symbolically speaking. Bringing something out into the light, right? Into the light of day. I see the light is really I see the truth. So being hit by lightning can be hit by truthening. It can change everything in a split second. Unlike how the death card changes us, it tends to be more gradual, a phase that we go through where our whole lives transform. This is more like divine intervention. Being walloped by the gods, but all for your betterment. You may not feel that way at the time, though. So, of course, here in the earth, it does make sense. Be willing to express love. When we express love, we begin to receive more love. So not just in the asking for the love that you want, but by expressing love to that child through sharing your shame. Again, looking at this mantra, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Well, maybe that's part of being willing to express love, so that you will be receiving more love, because you will be giving some of that healing love to yourself. Now, granted, a tricky spread for you with that sharing shame and with that that card of the Tower with the push me, pull me. But then we're really looking to your earth and your air, which seem pretty right on the nose. The air, direction of the east, mental focus, the earth. Be willing to express love. Really give yourself the love that only you can give you now, even if that sharing of shame is in prayer, is in silence. Should there be no confidant, remember that there are spiritual counselors, people who want to hear that. Some are working pro bono, right? As a spiritual counselor, it's how I make my money, but I've never turned somebody away because of money, but I will certainly point them in a direction of information and clarity, things to research, to things to look up on their own so that they can take their own journey. So there is help out here, but again, that push me, pull me thing, if that's you, one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake, just really look at the choices that you're making here, express love and focus, because what's going on emotionally here might be abrupt, but through sharing your shame, there is real healing there for you once you give yourself permission to be that way. It's heavy duty. I get it. And those are heavy duty cards to get. But we're Leos. Well, I'm Leo rising. So, you know, it's all about that push me and pull me, that element of fire. But this is all happening for your higher good and your ultimate healing. Remember, you're ruled by the sun, one of the great planets of healing, right? Apollo in particular, solar god of healing and all that. So may the Leo collective sun, moon, rising signs be blessed with all that they need for this full moon to new moon next April 2020 to focus on that push me, pull me, to have that radical revelation and transformation within their emotional field, to be willing to express their love and perhaps even sharing their shame, sharing their deepest pain, giving themselves permission to be, for the well-being of all. May they be so blessed. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that. Comment below if this resonates now or later. And wishing you the very best and the very blessed of this new moon in Libra to full moon next in Taurus. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.